Hello and welcome back to the 410. My name is AJ, your host, and we're back here on the Taco Tuesday on the 410. Let's get caught right back up with things here. The Orioles back on tap. We're going to talk about them. Of course, the NBA action been fantastic. The finals are set. We're going to talk about that, and we're caught right back up in the WNBA. We still have two teams remaining undefeated. Before we get in any of that, K Hill Electric on standby for any electrical needs, whether they're big, small. You let them know exactly what you need. You let them know you heard about them here on the 410. They'll be on the way with the best service, best price in town. All right, jumping into the Orioles. Like I said on the show on Saturday, I was on the way to the stadium to check out the action, and I was not disappointed when I got down there. Of course, we had a great game out of Dean Krimmer. He did his thing there, held down the fort for us. For the most part, he started getting shaky there later in the game, but we should have took him out when we saw that he was starting to get shaky. So that's on the coach. But we got the job done here. We got it done 4-2. We had 2 home runs, one out of Jackson Holiday, one out of Jorge Mateo, his first home run of the year. Shout out to him. That wind sailed that thing right on out there to the stands, but it still was a home run nonetheless. And then, of course, Felix Batista came in. He definitely gave me a heart attack there at the end of the game. Probably gave himself a heart attack at the end of the game. And I'm sorry, Felix. I know you probably heard me out there in the stands with some choice words for everybody, but I was just letting you know exactly what you needed to do. And you did exactly what you needed to do, striking out those last 2 batters. That's what I like to see. We moved right into Sunday with some big momentum there on Sunday. We took that game 3-2. It was a little closer than I wanted it to be, but we still pulled it off, obtaining that sweep that we needed there, getting that day's rest before the day's game here. Of course, we had Charlie Morton on the mound. And I just told you the other day, man, Charlie was pitching a lot better, and he held on to exactly what I was talking about there. Pitched a great game for us. You can't ask for anything better than what our starting rotation has been giving us here. Now we just got to pick those bats up, get them clicking a little bit more, and I think we're starting to put together exactly what we need to see to make this playoff run here. All right, of course, like I said, we won the game 3-2. It was a little closer than what I wanted. We sat Felix out. He didn't come in and close this game down. We actually brought Brian Baker out to close the game. And my goodness, when I turned around and saw Brian on the mound and people that were in the stands with me, they're going to tell you that I almost had a heart attack, man. I said, Brian Baker on the mound to close the game, but he must have went and told the coach that today wasn't going to be the day, that he was going to be the night. And he went down there and he shut that game down in style. Like I said, today's game here is a must-win game. We had the day off yesterday. So today, like I said, it's now or never, now or next season for the O's, basically. Not never, now or next season for the O's. If you're not getting it done right now, we're getting ready to have this fire sale. I'm telling you, I was down there checking into things, y'all. I don't even want to tell you some of the rumors that's going on down there. I'm just hoping that we can hold it in the road here. And if we can do that, we up on deck here tonight at 9:40 against Seattle. Tomoyuki, the Rookie of the Year, pitching tonight. We have a great shot to win this game and get this series started the right way. We need to go down here, and we literally need to sweep this series against Seattle, which is a great team down there. They're batting really, really well. But I don't care what's going on, y'all. It's time. Y'all played around early in the season here, now or it's next season for y'all. So he's going to go down there and get the win here tonight, and I'm going to sit back and watch it. I'm betting on the O's because, like I said, this is a game. They know they have to have these games here, and if they don't, I'm going to give you the State of the Union here on the Orioles here, and I'm going to just go down the line on the people that's not safe here. I'm going to tell you some of the rumors. If they don't win tonight, they don't win this series here against Seattle, this is the stuff that you're getting ready to hear, y'all. Cedric Mullins, he going to be on his way out the door, y'all. Couple people floating around want his services, and we're willing to let him go if we're not going to get to the playoffs this year. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm not willing to let him go. I don't want Ced to go anywhere, but this is a business, and if we're not getting to the playoffs here, Ced is on the chopping block, and my goodness, he's been playing like a madman, but Ryan O'Hearn, he's on the chopping block too. We're going to get some valuable assets for him, and the way he's been playing, he's on the chopping block. And I know this stuff is hard to hear, y'all. That's why I've been out here yelling from the top of the stadium. We got to get it together because I don't want to see these people leave here. And then, of course, on the pitcher side of things, Zach Eflin, he might be gone. You know, he just came in and gave us a gym the other day. There's people looking for his services. If he's going to be healthy, that's another guy that's sitting right out there ready to be on the chopping block. Ryan Mountcastle, another one on the chopping block. So you hear all these names here. Heck, I'm not even going to lie to y'all. Adley Rushman, he could be on the chopping block. The only problem is he's not performing whereas though he's going to bring back enough value to make it worthwhile. We might as well sit back and hope that he gets into the form, because I'm here to tell y'all, I did not know that we picked Adley over Bobby Witt Jr., y'all. I'm sorry, that was a mistake. I know people love Adley, but I don't understand how we made that move whatsoever. We got one guy sitting here in the MVP race, and then Adley, he's struggling to bat 250, y'all, if he's even at 220. So once again, our scouting department, they've been letting us down here for the O's. I'm hoping we can get it together. I'm trying to get out to AAA, Norfolk, to see what's going on down there, but I'm not getting a whole bunch of good reviews back from my buddies that's been going out there. They've been telling me, man, y'all have no pitching here down here in the AAA. I don't know what they're telling you down there in Baltimore, but there's nothing that you have down here in the AAA. The only person been performing lately is Cowser. Cowser's batting like 500 in the AAA. I think it's time for us to pull him in. And man, we got Heston Kjerstad sitting there under 200. So once again, like I said, tonight is a really, really crucial game for the O's. I don't want to hear these names on the chopping block, so I'm hoping we can get the dub tonight, and tomorrow we can keep on moving forward with now would it be a 4-game win streak, first 4-game win streak of the year. All right, getting into the NBA, of course, the other night, the Indiana Pacers, they were on a mission to get to the finals. Like I told you, I figured they were going to close the game out down in Madison Square Garden, but the Knicks, they fought a little harder than what I thought they would there, and I think Indiana's just like, hey, we're going to let them have this one, and they went to Indiana, and they closed that thing down in style there. They did everything they needed to do. Now it's OKC on Thursday. Of course, I'm going to break that finals matchup down to you big time here on the 410. I'm getting all the numbers, getting everything together, but I'm going to tell you, I'm going to just give you a sneak preview here. It's not a whole lot of thought going to be going into who I'm picking here for the finals. I'm just going to tell you that right there. Of course, the other night, like I said, the Knicks, they played admirably, but it was just a simple thing of Indiana was just way too deep for the 5-6 players that the Knicks were bringing to the table. And matter of fact, while I'm sitting here, I might as well talk about it since it just flashed across the screen. But because of that performance that the coach gave New York, he's now out as the Knicks coach. Tom Thibodeau is no longer the New York Knicks coach, and it's not hard to see why. Because literally, if you look at how his coaching style played a part into the series there, literally, if he had played some of that bench, I think they might have got the job done, y'all. They were really close to doing it, and I talked about it early on, right away in the series about that bench. If he was going to modify the way he was playing, they may have a chance. But without that bench, without running 9-10 deep, you're not going to be a match for these deep teams. Indiana, OKC, they bringing just too much firepower down the pipe to you. All right, let's get into the WNBA, where, of course, Saturday, there was only one game for us to talk about. I told you, go ahead and take Angel Reese in the sky. They were going to get the job done there, and they might even win the game. Well, that's exactly what they did there. They won this game 94-83. Angel Reese didn't have one of her best games, but it doesn't matter. They got the dub. They won 2 in a row. Hopefully, they can keep it up here. Yesterday's games, of course, I didn't get on here on Sunday and talk about them. We're just going to run down the line here. Of course, until they lose here, you can lock out the Liberty and the Lynx every time they play until they lose to win. On the parlay, if they play the same night, if that's what you want, that's what I've been doing. The Liberty, they won this game 100-52 against the Sun. Yes, I'm going to say it again, 100-52. So like I just said, until further notice, you need to lock out the Liberty, lock out the Lynx in the WNBA to win. If they're playing on the same day, you parlay them. I don't care what you put on it. The girls haven't lost yet. We're going to ride the wave. The next game up was the Mercury going up against the Sparks. The Mercury on the road, they won this game 85-80. Next game up was the Aces, of course. I love the Aces. They were playing against the Storm there. They won this game 75-70 against the Storm. And then the last game of the night was the Lynx, who we just talked about, still undefeated here, going up against the Valkyries. They won this game 86-75. All right, so tonight's games, we have 3 on tap. One of them already underway, the Mystics going up against the Fever. I told you we fading the Fever as long as they don't have Caitlin Clark. The Mystics are up in the second quarter right now, 22-19 in this game. And once again, I don't see the Fever doing any better until they have Caitlin Clark back in the lineup. Next game up is one I just talked about as well. The Mercury going up against the Lynx. The Lynx, of course, undefeated at 7-0. No brainer. We're going to take them to win the game, no doubt. Next game is the Wings going up against the Storm. The Wings, of course, 1 win of the year. The Storm, they're 3-4. So we're going to take the Storm in this game, no doubt. Thank you for your time. Quick show today. Not a whole lot. Just wanted to get caught up with you. Let you know that I was back on the scene and definitely working on something major for the 410. And if I'm going to say it one more time, y'all, I'm working on something major for the 410. And I'm just going to give you a little hint. You heard of the AMG package? Well, we getting ready to have the 410 package. I'm working on that right now, y'all. Until you see me tomorrow, please be safe. Once again, check in with your family and friends. Once again, if you haven't already, please subscribe to this, like, share it with whoever you can. Shoot me a comment. We're going to keep growing here on the 410. And then once again, my Marines, service members, if you need any help, don't be scared to go down. Tell somebody to come talk to you about whatever you got going on. And if you need to, go ahead and hit Adrian up here on the 410, and I'll talk to you, y'all. Once again, thank you for your time here. This is Adrian here on the 410.